Hello and welcome to our continuing coverage of Royal Ascot. PTF back with you in the Brigadier Gerard Garden here. We're not in the Royal Enclosure actually at the moment, but you could throw a rock and hit it over here in the Queen Anne, one of the best spots on the whole course here at Ascot. Very excited to look into a loaded Thursday of racing, and to do that, we bring in a man who previewed the Breeders' Cup Win and You're In races with us. You can find that elsewhere on the In the Money Media YouTube channel. Great to be talking to him here. I'm not sure the outfit he's wearing right now would pass muster in either the Queen Anne or the Royal. Michael Adolphson, how are things? I like you representing your hometown, though.
Yeah, it's my hometown. There's more things than murder in Baltimore. I do. I'm looking forward to everything. I'm sad that we just missed in the Queen Anne. But we could put up a nice each way winner in Mission Control. So let's rock on and rock through Thursday's card.
That was a great pick for sure. I was on Rayevka in the end, so you snatched victory from the jaws of my defeat. But it's all is forgiven in horse racing. Of course, I shouldn't just listen to you like I normally do. We kick things off on Thursday with the Chesham for these 2-year-olds going 7 furlongs. Who do you like?
I like Time for the Moon. I really was impressed with his prep. Charlie Johnston has got a good handle on this horse. Billy Loughlin's obviously riding extremely well right now. I just like the way the horse travels, especially for a 7 furlong race. I think it's going to be really tough. He comes in at a square price, about 6-1 right now. Hopefully in the exchanges, if you're playing over in the States, you can get a little bit higher. And some of the big money goes on Ex La Chapelle, the big favorite for Ballydoyle. But yeah, I'm going to take a shot on Time for the Moon. I just really like the prep work. Big each way on this one. I think he's 33-1 right now. Let me check on that. Is a first-time starter from Joseph O'Brien named On Just Turns. Justify, first-time starter. I really like the ballsiness of throwing this horse in there. He just looks like a proper horse. Saw a picture of him. He just looks like a really, really nice animal. And if they're throwing him in there, this race has been won a couple years ago by Holloway Boy, who was the first-time starter that day. So it's not impossible. So I'm going to go Time for the Moon for the win and each way on Just Terms.
Yeah, not unprecedented, though. Like you say, very bold move, but Joseph certainly one of the shrewdest around. If they're putting the horse in there, there's a reason. I hear why you're looking at that one for a big price, and sounds like a very sensible option on the win end as well. Let's move on to race number 2. We've got the King George V, 3-year-olds here going 1.5 miles. Who's your idea of the winner?
I like Tierra del Toro in here. Walthnon, I think, even though things didn't perfectly work out for them yesterday, I think they will have a big Royal Ascot. They're just loaded for bear. Tierra del Toro comes in, Lobby de Vega for Rafe Beckett. He looks like he is improving at the right time. Gives James Doyle first call. I think that this is a horse at 8-1 is a square price. Each way to look at in there, because it is a handicap, he is one of the better horses in the race, but he's handicapped heavier as Guildmaster, about 20-1. He is top weight in here, but I wouldn't be shocked if he comes back to form if you like a big each way on a 20-1 horse, who in the end might be the best horse in this race, but just is carrying a lot of weight. So that's what I'm leaning toward. Tierra del Toro on top of a nice square price at 8-1, each way on Guildmaster at 20s.
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again in the handicaps, being top weight. There's a reason why you're the top weight, and sometimes the weight isn't enough to level out the playing field. When you throw in a price, I don't mind that idea at all. And, in all of these instances for the U.S. players watching, what I would recommend doing is, take Michael's top pick, take the each way horse, start messing around with USA Exotics, throw in another one of yours or two you come up with, and you have a chance. You don't have to hit a lot of them at a meeting like Ascot to get paid. Let's go on to some group action in the form of the Ribblesdale for the 3-year-old fillies. We're going 1.5 miles once again. Pretty excited about this race. I'll start with Legacy Link. Are you with her or against her?
I'm against her. I think that was a really tough run. Just to let 2 weeks ago in the Oaks, she's going to really have to be a top fillies in order to get this done. I don't doubt the Gosdens, but bringing her back quickly. But I do think that this is a race that's going to be tougher than it looks for her.
Where will you land instead?
Okay, well, I'll say that there are 2 horses that I really, really like here. Composing is 12-1. Had a busy 2-year-old campaign, but had 3 wins. She won the debutante at 7 furlongs at 2. She only had 2 races so far. 5th and 6th this season. Should come forward. She did face True Love in that first run back. And she steps up and trip, which I think she should be able to do. She's a daughter of Ipona Place, was a nice filly over 1 mile and 1. So I think that stepping up a little bit more might be okay for the Witten Bassett filly. And I think she's got a big shot. Aidan O'Brien has got a hammerlock on this race recently. So I think that, he's won the last 3. I'm going to give 12 to 1 shot. I won this race with, a 15 to 1 shot last year, 8 to 1. So I'm going to give it again to Composing. Each way shot in there, because I like to put in a price, is Brilliant Star. Now, Brilliant Star is, how do I explain it? She's the blue blood of the race. Her mother, Starcatcher, won the race, same silks of the Oppenheimers. She's also by the Oppenheimers' top older horse in Cracksman. And this is, you can't overlook the fact that this horse has a nice line through race, is going to move forward in a nice way. And I just think 40 to 1 is a massive price for a Gosden second string, especially going 1.5 miles on the grass for the fillies.
Yeah, when you got that kind of blood and that kind of price, you get me very, very interested. Race number 4, the hinge of the card, the race that gives the day its name, Group 1 Gold Cup, a race that I'll nerd out here for a second, a race that has prominence in literary history. It's one of the key events. Joyce's novel Ulysses, going back to 1904. They're still running it today. Who do you think is going to win this running of this historic race?
Yeah, this historic race goes back all the way to 1807. It's been won 22, 23 times, multiple times. Trollerman tries to become the next one to win it 2 years in a row. But his first race off the bench is going to be a big ask. I think he is going to be a pace factor, but he's going to be caught and ground down. Scandinavia is the favorite in this race. And as much as I want to go against the favorite, I hate chalk. He's the best horse in the race. He's the best horse in the race. He's just going to grind them to bits over 2.5 miles. I do love him on top. I would like to have more than like the 6-4, 3-2 that he has right now. Hopefully he floats a little bit, and maybe Rahib, the second choice, comes down as they renew the rivalry from the St. Ledger last year. But I do think Scandinavia at 2.5 miles, nobody's going to touch him. I will not be shocked with an open length victory. A bit of a price on the bottom if you want a horse that's very consistent, if you want an each way that's very consistent. 66 to 1 on Al Nair. This horse is a full brother to St. Ledger runner-up New London. He runs against the top stayers in the world, and he hasn't finished out of the board in 5 or 6 of his last starts. So, I think he's just a really, really good horse at 66 to 1 if you get that 1/5 each way price with the fingers.
Certainly one to mess around with in the USA style exotics as well. We move to the back of the card with the Britannia 3-year-olds going to the course here, racing on the straight mile course. Do you have a strong opinion in this race?
It's not that exciting of a race. I think Organized is kind of lukewarm leading the market, and rightfully so. This is a horse that I think will, move forward in this spot and just should be very, very tough. If you want a bit of a couple of each ways in there to look at, 20 to 1 on Tales of Wisdom for Charlie, and on the other side of the huge yards, you have Flushing Meadows coming in for Bellydor at 25 to 1. I mean, these horses should run well and are big prices for each ways. But Organized at 9 to 1, if he stays there, he'll probably drop. So if you can get him somewhere around that right now, Organized for Wathnon is coming into the race properly. Handicap debut, first race off the geld. I think he'll move forward and be very tough to beat.
6th race on the card is the Group 3 Hampton Court Stakes. 3-year-olds going to post once again. We're on the round course, going 1.25 miles. Who wins it?
I like Maho Bay at a big fat 10 to 1 price. I mean, if you put a line, I love a line through the last, kind of an angle with this kind of a race. This is a horse that had 2 very good races, including at Newmarket around 103 RPR that day. And then just kind of, didn't land a punch last time in a Derby Prep. The Derby Prep, the first and second place finishers, he finished 4th, finished 2nd and 4th in the Derby. So I think that this is strong form and a big price on a horse that should love every bit of 10 furlongs on this course. Big favorites in their endorsement is about 2 to 1 for Aidan. I worry about him cutting back from 12 to 10 furlongs. He could prove to be just too good for these horses, but I'm going to take a horse like Maho Bay against him at 10 to 1. Oxagon's coming in 7 to 8 to 1. The distance going the other direction is a big question. It comes out of the French Derby. He didn't exactly stay that day. He was very keen. He's got to really relax on the front end in order to get, or near the front end to get this done, and that's a big question mark for him. And for me, he looks a little bit too much like a mile 1 kind of horse. So yeah, I'm going Maho Bay on top. And as far as second place, I put Oxagon, and 3rd endorsement. Not very exciting. Just going for a 10 to 1. Charlie Appleby. It's the only Charlie price that I think will hit hard in the entire week.
It'll be interesting to see how the form of the yard works out after a subpar performance from notable speech yesterday. We'll learn a lot more about the form of the yard today. Something to keep an eye on. Let's talk about the Buckingham Palace. Now, one great thing about doing these shows for me, Michael, is it's a bit of double duty. This year, one of the things I'm doing here is going on the world feed for the last race of the day. I was lucky enough yesterday to put up the winner of the Copper Horse in there. Now, I am so intimidated by this race. I haven't started looking at it. Just the 32 runners or something insane?
Yeah, it's
Help me. What do I say?
Well, I just think that you just look. There's a handful of horses on the top end of this race, and 5 or 6 horses that are all around the same price. That you just got to figure out who's what and who really is kind of being overlooked. And I think that one of those horses that might be slightly overlooked is Dance in the Storm. Carries the famous J.C. Smith colors to Andrew Balding. This filly is, I think, 7 furlongs. It's right on the nose, and it's drawn well. I would say put a bit of a line through her last effort at Epsom. And I think she'll come forward in a nice way here. They would not run her. They would not, wave those colors on, at Royal Ascot if they didn't think she had a big shot in here. So I'm going to give her a big run, a big shot in here. I also think if you're looking for a kind of a bit of a price on the bottom, there's 33 to 1 right now on, where is he at? On the Lost King. Now, the Lost King is also Andrew Balding. So I'm going the Balding exactly here. The Lost King is 3 to 1. This horse is 3 for 10. I think that, he since the geld, he's kind of moved forward in a bit of a way, but I think the conditions of this race are going to suit him extremely well. And I think he'll pick up the pieces a bit in the end. And I think he could be a nice, good price each way. But in the end, Dance in the Storm, very tough to beat in this spot. But it depends on how the race splits. There's going to be a million horses running down the lane. You've got to figure out who you're going to land on. But that one just seems, Dance in the Storm seems the most reliable of all the logical horses.
Would you ever, in a race like this, look to bet one from each side, depending on how the race plays out? You know what I mean? Like, is that something you ever put into your consideration?
Yeah, I mean, but in the end, these handicaps, there's so many messy handicaps during the week that I'm not going to, rack my brain in order to, I'm not going to, to me that they take more effort than anything when it comes to these. And I feel like they're sometimes the least fun. So I more look forward to picking up a big price on horses like Maho Bay at 10 to 1 for Charlie Appleby and shocking people in that kind of a race earlier in the card than squeaking out a 12 to 1 fourth choice and Dance in the Storm.
You pick your chances, you pick your spots, and you can bet every race, but you want to be allocating your bankroll accordingly if you do that. Great stuff from you as ever, Michael. And as you know, no good deed goes unpunished around here. Maybe we'll bring you back for the tricky Saturday if we can steal more of your time. But also want to give a quick shout out to my friends over at Daily Racing Form. If you're looking for USA style past performances, that's a place to go. Encourage folks in the States to watch on TVG. That coverage has been terrific this week, as well as, of course, the NBC feed going out. Check local listings. A lot of that's going to be on Peacock. Big NBC for Saturday. Lots of ways to follow along. Oh, there's a nice cameo. Who do we have there? Is she named after a pop culture figure or a horse?
She's named after Lady Olenna from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Very nice.
Lives up to the title, as you can.
A powerful lady pulling the strings and making you do whatever she wants. No doubt. All right, great stuff, Michael. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate our friends here at Ascot for sponsoring the video. Check it out. An ADW that we do a lot of work for here at In the Money Media. I'm not sure if it's cool on this program to name ADWs, but they're doing even betting competitions. Poke around. You'll find it. Go to inthemoneypodcast.com. You'll see a plug. That's another fun way to get involved and play. We encourage you to bet these races, study these races. My favorite week of the year. Michael, thank you so much for your time. And to everybody out there, may you win all your Royal Ascot photos.